In questions of science, the authority of 1,000 is not worth the humble reasoning of a single individual. Who said this? Galileo, sentenced to house arrest by no less than the authority of the church for stating the truth. The earth was not the center of the universe. I applaud Diana, the force behind healing science policy, for the courage to stand with Galileo in that scientific truth, not authority, rules. So, I'm Brian Peskin, founder of Peskin Pharmaceuticals. We are world leaders in combating cellular inflammation and maximizing critical cellular oxygenation. As a new pharma company that focuses on etiology, root cause, we're delighted to see Secretary Kennedy lead HHS. We are also the first to petition the FDA just 3 weeks ago, September 16th, the only green, organic, plant-based investigational new drug to impede, even reverse atherosclerotic heart disease, our nation's #1 killer for over 100 years with no end in sight until now. We all enjoy fast food, cakes, cookies, me included, and this discovery combats bad eating. I can prove it with stiff artery and plaque evaluation with digital photoplethysmography. If you suffer what they call brain fog, fatigue, chronic exhaustion, memory lapses, it's not your fault. These are all inflammatory based. Once understood and implemented, this new understanding of the etiology, root cause of chronic inflammation, revolutionizing prevention and treatment for the entire field of medicine, including cancer, cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, to name a few. Even autism is inflammatory based. This new focus is our only hope to reverse the epidemic of chronic illness and healthcare bankruptcy. Treating existing disease is no longer sufficient. We need to stop the top 2 killers, cancer and heart disease, from ever starting. A new anti-inflammatory based approach is required. As every physician understands, steroids and pathway blockers are no answer to prevention. Stand on the shoulders of medical giants, Horobin, Holbert, Sinclair, Warburg, and colleague and extraordinary surgeon, Dr. Jeffrey Robb, professor and former chair of the Department of Plastic Reconstructive Surgery, MD Anderson Cancer Center, our medical director, who used my anti-inflammatory recommendations to expedite healing in over 100 cancer patients. Shout at every rooftop, all over the press and internet. Omega seed oils are toxic, right? Wrong. If processed, adulterated, then poison. However, if organic, unprocessed, then essential. So we have a dichotomy. Based on processing, it's either poison or essential. And the ratio of poison to essential in the cell is proportional to what you consume. So eating 70% unprocessed and 30% junk is okay. You don't need to be a monk. You need to know we have parents and derivatives, offsprings, technically termed eicosanoids, like PGE1, the body's most potent, natural anti-inflammatory, our company's focus. The parents are the cellular brick and mortar, like the beams in your house. They must come from food. We can't make them. The derivatives made from the parents, like GLA, EPA, DHA, AA, are the controllers, like the thermostat of your air conditioner. It's only two essential oils, very important. Term them parent essential oils. Parent omega-6, parent omega-3. All of the food processing is on the omega-6 side because the omega-3 side is too reactive for use in cooking. You never cook with flax oil or fish oil, for example. Why are the parents important? Because you have 100 trillion cells with a bilipid membrane. Half protein, half oil, no structural carbohydrate. Of this, a quarter to a third are parents, the brick and mortar of the cell, with 4 to 20 times more parent omega-6 than omega-3. That's why it's so essential to have organic and processed omega-6, and the seed oils are the only way to get enough of them. The seed oils are the only way to get enough of them. This dangerous processing was warned about in 1956 in the Lancet by the brilliant physician physiologist Hugh Sinclair at Oxford. He warned processed oils would cause epidemics of cancer and heart disease. No one heeded his warning. His article, Deficiency of Parent Essential Oils and Atherosclerosis, etc., hit the nail on the head. Same warning was repeated in 2013 by Professor Anton. But again, no one listened. Effects of adulterated versus unadulterated parent omega-6 on cardiovascular health. The oil chemists did a wonderful job of keeping food from spoiling, along with modifying consistency like hydrogenated peanut butter. Fortunately, they were never asked about the harm to our health. Here's more proof about the processed oils causing chronic inflammation. 2017, few read or implemented this quote, and this is unbelievable. Virtually all cells are hypersensitive to changes of their membrane lipids, oils, membrane, induced by the diet, induced by the diet. So what you eat changes your cellular physiology. Cells sense the processing. Also, extremely important, proteins are controlled by the lipids, the oils. Everybody in science today is protein, 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 DNA, RNA, protein. They're not the masters. They're controlled by the oils. If parent omega-6 is not fully functional, the proteins don't work. 12 of the top diseases, from diabetes to cancer, are now known to be inflammatory, even caused directly by inflammation, and are known to have an impairment in a key metabolic pathway called D6D, delta-6 desaturase, causing daily chronic inflammation. That's our company's focus. Anti-inflammation therapy must be the new focus, taking center stage in medicine, or our epidemic of chronic disease can't be stopped. We need anti-inflammatory medicine taking center stage. Here's recent proof. It's not me saying this. Top journal articles. Again, nobody references or reads. Alzheimer's, 2018, 7 years ago. Quote, inflammation is a major cause, not just a consequence, but only now is it identified as the cause. Alzheimer's. This new work turns previous thinking around. Has nothing to do with beta amyloid. Human molecular genetics. Nobody's reading that. Never makes it over into Lancet, New England Journal of Medicine, JAMA. Cancer, 2007. Cancer is not genetic. Let me repeat it. Cancer is not genetic. This is wonderful news for people going, oh, cancer runs in my family. Over 50% of Americans contract cancer. It runs in everybody's family. 18 years ago, not implemented. There's not enough mutations, and it was reversed. If anyone care to look, from the corner of the term oncogene, Professor Weinberg at MIT. There's but one prime cause of cancer, discovered by Nobel Prize winner Otto Warburg, lack of cellular oxygenation. This was confirmed by medical researchers in the U.S., 1953, 1955, and explained by Dr. Campbell in his 1976 magnificent quote, abnormal parent omega-6 composition and impaired oxygen supply. So the omega-6 is impairing the oxygen no one made use of until now. Quote, from the corner of the term oncogene, Professor Warburg about its reversal. Quote, in this rewriting of the textbook, anti-inflammatory cancer therapy would prevent premalignant cells from turning fully cancerous. Would prevent premalignant cells from turning fully cancerous with anti-inflammation therapy. Impede an existing tumor from spreading. That's stopping metastasis. That's where 90% of the problem is. Nature reviews cancer research, and his book, One Renegade Cell. This is in the cancer journals, and nobody has made use of it except us. Supported 2009, National Cancer Institute. Major abnormalities in cardiolipin. What's cardiolipin? Are found in all tumors. Abnormalities in cancer tumors. 100% of the cardiolipin in the mitochondria is malfunctional. Cardiolipin is the inner layer of the mitochondria. Mitochondria are the cellular energy producers. So we need oxygen, we need energy. If you don't have energy, you have congestive heart failure, and you get cancer. Amazingly, fish oil displaces critical omega-6, decreasing cellular energy. Not to mention that fish oil spontaneously oxidizes, becomes rancid exponentially at room temperature because its high number of bisallylic bonds. Fish oil is a dangerous supplement and should scare the hell out of you. If you're using it, stop. Stop now. Stop the cellular damage. Major takeaways. A, cancer is not genetically based. B, parent omega-6 is an oxygen supplier in the cell membrane required to stop cancer from starting and metastasizing, spreading. Cardiovascular disease. 3 things you need to know. American Heart Association, 2009, said omega-6 is not inflammatory. Omega-6 is not inflammatory by no less than the American Heart Association, or quotes. Saying that reflects a rather naive understanding of the biochemistry. Talk about insulting. If you're saying omega-6 is inflammatory, your naive understanding of biochemistry. Omega-6 derivatives have powerful anti-inflammatory properties that counteract any pro-inflammatory properties. It's incorrect to view the omega-6 as pro-inflammatory. This was repeated in the journal Circulation, another top heart journal. And in 2017, again, the higher the parent omega-6, the lower the number one marker of inflammation, C-reactive protein. Case closed. Omega-6 is not inflammatory and essential to stop chronic inflammation. What's the number one component of plaque? As an engineer, it's the first question I'd ask. You're not going to get the answer by most physicians. No, it's not cholesterol. No, it's not saturated fat. It's adulterated, processed omega-6 from the cooking oils. The majority, as much as 85% of the clog, is the oxidized omega-6. And very importantly, they are not going bad in the body. They are already bad from the food processors. Parent omega-6 and cholesterol is highly resistant to going rancid in the body. We're highly misled on that. No saturated fat and plaque, misled for decades. Felton, quote, dietary polyunsaturated fatty acids and compositions of human aortic plaque in the Lancet, world's premier medical journal. Identification and quantification of unique fatty acid and oxidative products in human atherosclerotic plaque using high-performance lipid chromatography. Annals of Biochemistry. Structure elucidation of oxygenated lipids in human atherosclerotic lesions. Eicosanoids. 3 top journals making clear what is in plaque. I found them. Why hasn't anybody else reported on this? I have no idea. Case closed. It's all in the omega-6 processed seed oil. Organic is essential. Processed is poison. Fish oil isn't just dangerous, it's poisonous. And I will tell you why in a minute. This finding will knock you off your chair. It was so important I left it in the bag. Yeah, the marine fish oil manufacturers hate me, despise me for giving you the truth, but I'm obligated to. Goes with the territory. Listen to this, 2018. Quote, it's not the loss of parent omega-6 alone that drives the impairment of the enzyme function. It was the replacement of parent omega-6 with DHA. The DHA forced out the parent omega-6 that promoted the reduction in activities causing congestive heart failure in humans. This was an experiment in heart mitochondrial activity, and without the energy, it was down by half, 50%. That's congestive heart failure, so we're doing it to ourselves. Quote, DHA lowers cardiac mitochondrial enzyme activity by replacing parent omega-6 in the phospholipidome. Journal of Biological Chemistry. These are the journals I live in, but your physicians, the medical healthcare, does not see them. So the science is here. It never translates into the clinical that the doctors are reading. It's not their fault. They never see it. Why is fish marine oil poisonous? It's become America's #1 health supplement. 19 million people misled about taking it. Fish oil is nothing more than antifreeze for a fish in 30-degree water. Think about it. We aren't a fish in freezing water. Why would a human being ever suffer a fish oil deficiency? I thank Dr. Rowan for bringing this to my attention. We're getting a supraphysiologic overdose on a daily basis. New 21st century analysis, NI researchers determined the amount of DHA utilized in the human brain, 0.4 milligrams to 7.2 milligrams, nearly nothing. Take a look at that compared to a fish oil capsule, 0.4 to 7.2 milligrams on a daily basis. This translates to 20 to 500 times. 20 to 500 times supraphysiologic overdose on a daily basis. Image incorporation of circulating DHA into the human brain using PAT, Journal of Lipid Research. It's there if anyone would care to look. I know this information must be shocking, even terrifying, but precisely explains why chronic illness is only accelerating one direction. Our only hope to stop disease before it starts is with anti-inflammatory medicine, moving us out of the darkness into the light. Thank you.